In this video, we're going to take a look at how color works in Adobe Lightroom Mobile. In particular, we'll focus on hue, saturation, vibrance, and take a look at how we can target certain colors. We launch Adobe Lightroom. We click to access our camera roll, and we choose our image to work with. I open my photographs. I always begin with my adjustments and in particular with the lights. I work with the distribution of light across my image to create a stronger image, from working with the highlights to the blacks and the whites. I'm going to take a look at the effects. I'll work with the clarity. I'll dehaze the image a bit and look at it before and after. Now we are going to select the color. In the upper right hand of the color, we see the color wheel. This will open up for color mix. Here, I can target certain colors. I begin by targeting the blues. I can see that I am brightening and working with the saturation of the sky. I target both of the blues. When I think about saturation, when I up the saturation, I am brightening the color. If I went the opposite way on the slider, it would dull the saturation, the brightness, the intensity of that color. I move on and I choose some of the other colors that are in this image. In particular, I'll work with the green. I'm going to up the saturation to brighten the trees, and I also can see some of the greens in the water. I'm undoing it to see what it looked like before and then redoing it to see as it looks now. I also am going to target the yellows. Again, I know that there are a lot of yellows in the water, and I'm upping the saturation. I'm also going to work with luminance. Luminance refers to the brightness of a color. We can slide it to the right to make the color brighter, and we can make it darker to subdue that color. We have our final image. Let's see what it looked like before and after. We can see that by working with the color, we can make a much more interesting image. We come to our camera roll. Let's do this with another image. I'm going to select this image of the tree. Before I move on to the color, I will begin with the distribution of light as well as the effects to create an image that has more information, clarity, and pop. I come to color. I'm going to begin by addressing the color as a whole. I will up the saturation of all of the colors in this image. I will up the vibrance to brighten the image, and I am going to warm up the temperature a little bit of this photograph. As I slide to the right, it becomes warmer. Since the colors in this image were all very similar, I am just going to address it as a whole and not focus in on the individual colors. I save the image and I move on to my next image. The first two images in this video were shown being edited on a tablet. Now let's look at it from a mobile device. Let's start by working with light. We'll adjust the exposure, the contrast, and we'll take a look at it before and after. We come to the effects. We'll up the texture, up the clarity, and dehaze our image a bit. Then we will take a look at our image before and after. I move from the effects to color. I click onto the color wheel and I work with the individual colors. I focus in on the red and I'm going to up the saturation of the red. Up the luminance as well to make the red brighter. We can see the endless possibilities we have in Adobe Lightroom.